That's the fear, right? The fear, that's the narrative that the press is putting forward, especially CNN, but also the New York Times, that he's such a dope. Trump is such a dope. He's going to give the game away. He's such a narcissist. He's going to give everything away. Then Trump walks away. So immediately, the narrative changes. It's like you can't keep up with them. They're running so fast to change the narrative. Immediately, he's a terrible failure. And you can always count on Jim, look at me, I'm Jim Acosta, to deliver the press narrative. Here he is picking on Trump. He's now, this is the same place, the CNN, same guys who were worried he was going to give the game away. Now he proves that he's a tough guy. He spits in Kim's eye. That's a big problem. So this is cut number 4.
The president staked a lot of his presidency on something that is just much more difficult than reality TV. This is not something that can be wrapped up in a season of The Apprentice. And the president made some very strong statements showing his affection for this North Korean dictator. Earlier on in the summit, he talked about having a very special relationship with North Korea and with Kim Jong-un, showing off the economic boom that has taken place in Vietnam as perhaps a roadmap for the North Koreans economically if they were to come back into the community of nations. But at the end of the day, that it just seems to be not enough for Kim Jong-un to put really his entire regime on the line. To take that kind of gamble with the president, it seems at this point he is just not ready to do that.
You're a mean, mad white man.
He is a mean, mad white man. But, I like the fact that, first of all, Acosta is always doing this. He's declaring that Trump has bet his presidency on this success, which just isn't true. I mean, Trump bet his presidency on 2 things, on the economy and the wall. So far, the economy is going well, the wall not so well. But this is something that has surprised everybody. And it really, the fact that he has made as much headway as he has, the fact that Kim hasn't been shooting missiles over Japan, that's a kind of a major thing. That's a good thing. Jim Acosta, you can count on him. Jim, look at me. I'm Jim Acosta. He delivers the ultimate narrative of this negotiation. It all had to do with Michael Cohen. Here he is.
So it's strike 1 in Singapore. He didn't get a deal with Kim Jong-un. Now it's strike 2 in Hanoi. Once again, no deal to denuclearize North Korea, something that he staked a lot of his legacy, a lot of his presidency on. And Jim and Christiane, in the backdrop of all of this is what happened back in Washington up on Capitol Hill at the House Oversight Committee when the president's former fixer really just blasted away at his former boss, accusing him of being a liar and a cheat and a criminal, basically, and so on. And what was a bombshell hearing up on Capitol Hill. The president presumably will be asked about that as well. He has been steering clear of that conversation here in Hanoi. He has not tweeted about it really in the aftermath of Michael Cohen's testimony. And so this will be really the first comments coming from the president about all of this. I find that just to be kind of remarkable that the president was able to hold his Twitter to a bare minimum here in Hanoi. That is something we don't see very often from the president, but he kept his powder dry. So presumably we're going to hear the president weigh in on all of that as well.
So as you know, if you're listening to this show, you know that Trump has been doing that a lot since the midterms because he catches on. He's got a very good instinct for politics, and he has dialed back his Twitter. But he did talk about Cohen. This is what he said. There's a cut 2.
I think having a fake hearing like that and having it in the middle of this very important summit is really a terrible thing. They could have made it 2 days later or next week, and it would have been even better. They would have had more time. But having it during this very important summit is sort of incredible. And he lied a lot, but it was very interesting because he didn't lie about one thing. He said no collusion with the Russian hoax. And I said, I wonder why he didn't just lie about that, too, like he did about everything else. I mean, he lied about so many different things. And I was actually impressed that he didn't say, well, I think there was collusion for this reason or that. He didn't say that. He said no collusion. And I was, a little impressed by that, frankly. He could have gone all out.
Trump's narrative is exactly the opposite of CNN. CNN's narrative was that Trump staged this summit with Kim Jong-un to distract from the Michael Cohen testimony. Trump's narrative is that they staged the Michael Cohen testimony to distract from the summit. Which of those is more plausible? It's actually Trump's narrative that's the more plausible. I don't even know if either of those happened, but just putting it forward, if we're going to have stupid one-sided narratives, I'd rather have one that I can believe. I mean, you can't set up a summit in time to distract from a hearing, which you could reschedule in any way you want.